What if I told you that some games don't just give you a story or a challenge, they give you an entire world to lose yourself in? Open-world games are like the all-you-can-eat buffets of gaming. Massive, overwhelming, and sometimes you walk away wondering why you spent 10 hours just collecting herbs or chasing random NPCs. But when they're done right, they're unforgettable. These are the games that don't just create a world, they make you feel like you're living in it. From sprawling fantasy realms to post-apocalyptic wastelands, open-world games have redefined what it means to explore, discover, and get completely sidetracked by side quests. Seriously, who needs a main story when there's a shiny treasure chest halfway across the map? Today, we're counting down the 10 best open-world games of all time. The ones that didn't just set the standard, but raised the bar for what a game world can be. Whether you're a fan of epic adventures, heart-pounding action, or just wandering around aimlessly, this list has something for everyone. So grab your controller, saddle up your horse, or sharpen your sword, because we're about to dive into the greatest open-world games ever made. Let's get started. Coming in at number 10 is a game that proves the post-apocalypse doesn't have to be all doom and gloom, just mostly doom and a little bit of gambling. That's right, we're talking about Fallout New Vegas. Set in the Mojave Wasteland, this game throws you into a world where radiation, raiders, and robot cowboys are just part of your average Tuesday. But what makes New Vegas stand out isn't just its setting, it's the sheer amount of freedom you have. Want to be a hero? Go for it. Want to be a morally questionable mercenary who steals every pencil and coffee mug in sight? Also valid. Or maybe you just want to gamble away all your caps at the blackjack table. Spoiler, I lost everything twice. The story is where New Vegas truly shines. With factions vying for control of the Strip, every decision you make feels like it matters. Will you side with the power-hungry Caesar's Legion, the bureaucratic NCR, or say screw it and take over New Vegas for yourself? The choice is yours, and the consequences are as satisfying as they are brutal. And let's not forget the world itself. From the neon lights of the Strip to the eerie silence of the desert, New Vegas is packed with personality. Sure, the graphics might feel a little dated now, but the writing and atmosphere more than make up for it. Plus, where else can you fight a deathclaw, gamble with a ghoul, and then drink radioactive soda like it's no big deal? So if you're looking for an open-world game that lets you carve your own path, and maybe blow up a few things along the way, Fallout New Vegas is a must-play. Just don't blame me when you lose all your caps at the roulette table. At number 9, we have a game that's less about saving the world and more about building your own, block by block. That's right, it's Minecraft. If you've ever wanted to build a castle, fight zombies, or just dig a really deep hole for no reason, Minecraft is your ultimate sandbox. This game is like digital Lego on steroids, but with creepers that explode and cows you can milk. Yes, really. What makes Minecraft so special is its simplicity. There's no grand story, no complex mechanics, just you. A world of blocks and your imagination. Want to build a replica of the Eiffel Tower? Go for it. Want to create a functioning computer inside the game? People have done that too. Or maybe you just want to survive your first night without getting jumped by a skeleton. Pro tip, dig a hole and hide. It's not glamorous, but it works. But don't let the simplicity fool you. Minecraft has layers. There's mining, crafting, farming, exploring, and even battling the Ender Dragon if you're feeling brave. And let's not forget the multiplayer mode, where you can team up with friends to build the ultimate base or prank each other with TNT. Just don't blame me when your friend blows up your house. The beauty of Minecraft is that it's whatever you want it to be. A creative outlet, a survival challenge, or just a place to unwind after a long day. It's a game that's been around for over a decade and still feels fresh, thanks to constant updates and a passionate community. And speaking of updates, Mojang has done an incredible job keeping the game alive. From new biomes like the lush caves and towering cliffs to mobs like the adorable axolotls and terrifying wardens, there's always something new to discover. It's like the game keeps giving you more blocks to play with, and honestly, I'm here for it. But let's be real. The real charm of Minecraft isn't just the gameplay, it's the memories you make. Whether it's building your first dirt hut, getting lost in a cave for hours, or finally defeating the Ender Dragon after weeks of preparation, Minecraft has a way of creating stories that feel uniquely yours. So whether you're a seasoned builder or a newbie still figuring out how to craft a pickaxe, Minecraft is a timeless open-world experience. Just watch out for those creepers. They're the real final boss. Coming in at number 8 is a game that asks the age-old question. What's scarier than a dinosaur? How about a robot dinosaur? We're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, a game that combines tribal warfare, post-apocalyptic sci-fi, and enough Robo-T-Rexes to make Jurassic Park look like a petting zoo. Set in a lush, overgrown world where nature has reclaimed the ruins of a fallen civilization, Horizon Zero Dawn follows Aloy, a badass hunter out to uncover the truth about her past, and why the heck the planet is overrun by mechanical beasts. Spoiler alert, the answer involves ancient tech, corporate greed, and a lot of oh crap moments. Let's start with the world itself. From snow-capped mountains to sun-drenched deserts, Horizon's open world is stunning. You'll spend hours just exploring, climbing ancient ruins, and taking photos of the scenery, right before a 50-foot robot crocodile ruins your Instagram moment. But what makes this world truly special is how it balances beauty with danger. Every corner feels alive, whether it's a herd of robot grazers peacefully munching grass, or a thunderjaw deciding you'd look better as a red smear on the ground. And then there's the combat. Fighting robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow sounds ridiculous on paper, but Guerrilla Games makes it feel like a high-stakes chess match. Do you shoot off their armor plates first? Hack them to fight for you? Or just lob a bunch of explosive tripwires and pray? I've done all three. The praying worked best. But Horizon isn't just about spectacle, it's got heart. Aloy's journey from outcast to hero is packed with emotional beats, and the story's mystery unfolds like a gripping sci-fi novel. Plus, the lore behind the world's collapse is equal parts fascinating and terrifying. Imagine finding out humanity's greatest achievement was also its dumbest mistake. Classic humans. Sure, the dialogue can get a little clunky at times. Looking at you, side characters with 10-page monologues, and climbing mechanics occasionally feel like wrestling a greased-up ladder. But when you're staring down a storm bird in the middle of a lightning storm, none of that matters. So, if you're craving an open-world game that mixes primal survival with futuristic tech, and lets you ride a robot horse like a post-apocalyptic cowboy, Horizon Zero Dawn is an absolute must-play. Just don't forget to stock up on arrows and wood. Trust me, you'll need them. Slashing its way into number 7 is a game that turns feudal Japan into a living painting, Ghost of Tsushima. This isn't just a game, it's a love letter to samurai cinema, complete with sweeping landscapes, tragic heroes, and enough sword fights to make your inner weeb weep with joy. You play as Jin Sakai, a samurai torn between honor and survival during the Mongol invasion of Tsushima Island. Do you fight with honor, facing enemies head-on like a classic samurai? Or do you embrace the ghost, sneaking, stabbing, and terrifying your foes like a ninja on a caffeine binge? Spoiler, I chose violence. Lots of violence. Let's start with the obvious. This game is gorgeous. Every frame feels ripped from a Kurosawa film, with golden fields of pampas grass, cherry blossoms drifting in the wind, and blood-red sunsets that'll make you pause the game just to take a screenshot. Guilty as charged. My gallery is 90% Tsushima photos and 10% memes. Even the way Jin's cape flutters in the wind is hypnotic. If this game had a tourism mode, I'd never leave. But beauty isn't just skin deep. The combat is a masterclass in making you feel like a sword-swinging legend. Parrying strikes, dodging spears, and unleashing stances that flow like a deadly dance. Every clash is tense, strategic, and ridiculously satisfying. There's nothing quite like cutting down a Mongol warlord, sheathing your katana, and watching him collapse in slow motion. And then there's the story. Ghost of Tsushima doesn't just tell you about sacrifice and loyalty, it makes you feel it. Supporting characters like the fiery Yuna or the conflicted Lord Shimura add depth to Jin's journey. And the choices you make, either the honorable samurai or the sneaky stabber, actually impact how the world sees you. Villagers will either bow in respect or flee in terror. No pressure, right? Oh, and let's not forget the guiding wind. Instead of a cluttered minimap, Tsushima uses gusts of wind to point you toward objectives. Absolutely loved it. But let's be real. Half the time I ignored the wind to chase foxes, compose haikus, or soak in hot springs. Priorities, people. Is it perfect? Well, the open-world activities can get repetitive. There are only so many Mongol camps you can liberate before you start side-eyeing the checklist. But when the core gameplay is this good, and the world this mesmerizing, it's easy to forgive. So if you've ever wanted to live out your samurai fantasies, write haikus about your existential crisis, Or just ride a horse through a field of flowers while your enemies burn behind you. Ghost of Tsushima is your blade-sharp answer. Just remember, honor dies with you. But cool kills? Those live forever. Taking the number 6 spot is a game that's less of a title and more of a lifestyle, The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. You know that game you've bought 6 times across 3 consoles and still haven't finished? Yeah, that one. Skyrim drops you into a frostbitten fantasy realm filled with dragons, demons, and more cheese wheels than a medieval Costco. You're the Dragonborn, a hero destined to save the world by shouting at things until they explode. But let's be honest, nobody cares about the main quest. You're here to get lost in a cave for 3 hours, adopt a pet fox, and accidentally become the leader of every guild in the province. Whoops, guess I'm the Archmage now. What makes Skyrim legendary isn't just its scale, it's the freedom. Want to climb a mountain just to see if you can? Go ahead. Want to marry a bard, steal a sweet roll, or fuss Rodog goat off a cliff? The game not only lets you, it encourages it. The world feels alive, thanks to NPCs with more drama than a reality TV show. Ever had a shopkeeper lecture you about his dead wife while you're trying to sell him 37 iron daggers? Classic Skyrim. And then there are the dragons. These fire-breathing loot piñatas are equal parts thrilling and annoying. Nothing says immersive fantasy like interrupting a heartfelt conversation with a village blacksmith to battle a flying lizard in your underwear. But hey, at least you'll get a cool shout out of it. Let's not forget the modding community, either. Skyrim isn't just a game, it's a canvas. Want to replace dragons with Thomas the Tank Engine? Done. Want to turn Whiterun into a tropical resort? You're weird, but sure. Mods have kept this game alive for over a decade, and honestly, Todd Howard owes those modders a fruit basket. Sure, the combat can feel clunky, and the bugs? From floating mammoths to NPCs casually walking into walls, Skyrim is as janky as it is charming. But that's part of its magic. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, and neither should you. So, if you're ready to ignore the apocalypse to chase butterflies, collect every cabbage in the realm, or finally figure out what the heck a Thuum is, Skyrim is your endless playground. Just don't forget to save. Those giants have a mean swing. Buckle up, because at number 5, we're diving into a game where crime does pay, especially if you're a retired bank robber, a meth-addicted psychopath, or a kid who's way too good at stealing cars. That's right, Grand Theft Auto 5 isn't just a game. It's a dysfunctional family road trip through the worst parts of Los Angeles. Los Santos, GTA 5's sprawling parody of Southern California, is a sandbox of chaos. Want to hijack a fighter jet, rob a casino, or just play tennis in between heists? This game lets you do it all while mocking American culture so hard, it deserves its own roast comedy special. From reality TV parodies to social media influencers who'd sell their souls for likes, GTA 5's satire is as sharp as Trevor's machete. Speaking of Trevor, let's talk about the trio of protagonists. Michael's midlife crisis, Franklin's hustle, and Trevor. Well, Trevor makes for a story that's equal parts hilarious and unhinged. Switching between characters on the fly adds a layer of madness you won't find anywhere else. One minute you're doing yoga with Michael's therapist. The next you're blowing up a meth lab with Trevor while he screams about aliens. It's like The Hangover meets Breaking Bad, but with worse life choices. And the world itself. It's alive in ways most games still haven't matched. You'll lose hours just people watching. Celebrities arguing with paparazzi, cops chasing NPCs for jaywalking, and strangers asking you to commit felonies for a few $100s. Spoiler, always say yes. It's worth it. Let's not forget GTA Online, the multiplayer mode that's basically a daycare for adults with too much money and rockets. Want to race supercars, run a drug empire, or just grief your friend with a flying motorcycle? This is your playground. Is the story a bit messy? Sure. Do some missions feel like filler? Absolutely. But when you're cruising down the Pacific Coast Highway in a stolen convertible, blasting 80s rock as the sun sets, none of that matters. So if you're ready to embrace your inner criminal mastermind, or just want to see how many stars you can get before the cops turn you into Swiss cheese, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the ultimate open-world power fantasy. Just don't tell your mom I recommended it. At number 4, we've got a game that's equal parts breathtaking and soul-crushing, Elden Ring. Imagine if Tolkien and George R.R. Martin had a baby, then handed it a sword and said, "Good luck, kiddo." That's Elden Ring, a sprawling, punishing, beautiful open world where every sunset could be your last. You play as a tarnished, a glorified zombie with a sword and a dream, tasked with becoming the Elden Lord. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. The lands between are packed with demigods who'd rather stab you than say hello, giant crabs that hate your guts, and a dude on a horse who's basically the final boss of tutorial zones. Thanks, Tree Sentinel. I really needed that ego check. What makes Elden Ring special isn't just its difficulty, it's the freedom. You can spend 50 hours getting stomped by a boss, or just leave. Go explore a haunted castle, ride a spectral horse off a cliff, or adopt a jellyfish as your emotional support companion. The world is so vast and layered. You'll stumble into areas you're definitely not ready for and think, this dragon is 20 times my size. Let's poke it with a stick. Spoiler, you'll die. But hey, at least the view was nice. The lore here is deeper than Mariana Trench fan theories, thanks to Martin's world building. Too bad it's all hidden in item descriptions and cryptic NPC ramblings. Want to know why that lady with the wolf head is crying? Google it. Or just accept that everyone in this game is traumatized and move on. Combat is classic from Software, precise, brutal, and oddly poetic. You'll master parries, dodge rolls, and the art of screaming nope and running away. But with new tools like spirit ashes and jump attacks, even casual players can cheese their way to victory. I beat a boss by hiding behind a pillar and spamming magic arrows. No shame. Yes, the learning curve is steeper than Mount Everest. And yes, you'll die more times than you've had hot dinners. But when you finally topple a god, unlock a hidden biome, or realize you've been playing for 6 hours straight, it's pure magic. So if you're ready to lose sleep, question your life choices, and fall in love with a world that hates you, Elden Ring is a masterpiece. Just remember, Torrent the horse is your best friend. Everyone else, they'll probably kill you. Galloping into number 3 is a game that's less about saving the world and more about surviving it, one slow, deliberate horse ride at a time. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a game. It's a 60-hour Western epic that'll make you cry over a pixelated horse and question your life choices. Step into the boots of Arthur Morgan, an outlaw with a heart of gold, or not, depending on how many old ladies you rob. The Van der Linde gang is your dysfunctional family, and their story of loyalty, betrayal, and tuberculosis is Shakespearean, if Shakespeare wrote about bank heists and bear attacks. Let's talk about the world. From snow-covered mountains to swampy bayous, RDR2's America is so detailed, you'll half expect to smell the campfire coffee. Wildlife behaves like it's in a David Attenborough documentary. Wolves hunt in packs, rabbits dart through fields, and if you stare at a squirrel long enough, it'll probably judge you. But be warned, this realism comes at a cost. Try to sprint through camp, and Dutch will scold you like a disappointed dad. Yes, Arthur, we get it. You have plans. The gameplay? It's a love letter to patience. Want to loot 20 drawers for a can of beans? Go ahead. Want to spend 10 minutes grooming your horse so it doesn't look like it rolled in mud? Sure. And let's not forget the honor system, where helping a stranger gives you karma points, but accidentally bumping someone in St. Denis gets you a bounty. Pro tip, just ride away. The law can't catch you if you're vibing to house building theme on loop. But when the story hits, it hits. Arthur's redemption arc is one of gaming's greatest, and saying goodbye to certain characters. Let's just say I needed a box of tissues and a therapy session. Even the side quests are unforgettable, whether you're hunting a vampire, helping a suffragette, or getting scammed by a guy who's definitely not a Nigerian prince. Is it slow? Absolutely. But like a fine bourbon, RDR2 is meant to be savored, not chugged. So saddle up, partner. The Wild West isn't going to explore itself. Just watch out for those O'Driscolls. Swinging into number 2 is a game where you'll hunt monsters, bang poets, literally, and lose 200 hours of your life to a card game. Welcome to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, a fantasy epic so rich, it makes Lord of the Rings look like a bedtime story. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a grumpy mutant with the charisma of a brick wall and the dad energy of a man who's very done with everyone's nonsense. The continent, Geralt's monster-infested playground, is a world where every swamp has a curse, every village has a secret, and every dialogue choice could end with you getting stabbed. Pro tip, don't trust elves. Or humans. Or anyone really. Let's start with the story. Geralt's quest to find his adopted daughter, Ciri, is a roller coaster of political intrigue, moral dilemmas, and emotional gut punches. Will you side with a manipulative sorceress, a chaotic vampire, or a guy who owes you 50 crowns? The choices matter here, and the consequences can haunt you for days. I'm looking at you, Bloody Baron questline. Why must you hurt me this way? But the real magic is in the side content. A random contract to kill a Nunwraith turns into a tragic tale of betrayal. A game of Gwent, the greatest in-game card game ever, becomes an obsession that derails the entire plot. And yes, you can romance almost everyone, but good luck explaining to Yennefer why you brought a succubus to family dinner. The world itself is staggering. From the war-taked fields of Velan to the neon-drenched streets of Toussaint, thanks to the Blood and Wine DLC. Every region oozes personality. You'll fight werewolves in misty forests, race horses through Novigrad's cobblestone alleys, and climb mountains just to yell, "Damn, you're ugly," at a griffin. Combat is slick and strategic, dodging, casting signs, and chugging potions like a medieval frat boy. But let's be real. The real challenge is keeping Geralt's beard trimmed and Roach the horse from parkouring onto rooftops. Seriously, Roach. How? Is it perfect? The inventory system is a mess, and Geralt's movement sometimes feels like steering a tank. But when you're watching a sunset over Skellige's fjords or laughing at a drunk troll's poetry, you won't care. So, if you're ready to lose yourself in a world where every choice has weight and every monster has a story, The Witcher 3 is a masterpiece. Just don't blame me when you're still playing Gwent at 3 a.m. And here we are, the game that didn't just redefine open-world design, but reinvented it. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild isn't just our number one. It's a love letter to curiosity, freedom, and the sheer joy of getting lost. From the moment you step out of the Shrine of Resurrection and see Hyrule sprawled before you, a kingdom in ruins, painted in golden light and whispering secrets, you know you're holding something special. This isn't a world you play in, it's a world you live in. Every mountain begs to be climbed, every forest hums with mystery, and every distant glow promises adventure. And yes, sometimes that adventure is launching yourself into a volcano because you thought cooking an egg on a shield was a good idea. Spoiler, it's not. Breath of the Wild throws out the rulebook. No hand-holding, no endless tutorials, just you, a glider, and a physics engine that's basically the MVP of this game. Want to chop down a tree to cross a river? Do it. Want to ride a bear? Go for it. Want to drop a metal sword during a thunderstorm to electrocute a moblin? Absolutely do it. This game trusts you to be creative, and it rewards you for it like no other. The story is minimalist but haunting. Scattered memories of Zelda's struggle and Link's forgotten past weave a tale of regret and hope, told through ruins, journals, and the quiet ache of a world that moved on without you. Even the Guardians, those spider-legged nightmares, feel like tragic relics of a war they never asked to fight. And let's talk about the Sheikah Slate abilities. Magnesis, Stasis, Cryones. These aren't just tools, they're invitations to break the game. Why fight a Linnell when you can drop a boulder on its head? Why solve a shrine puzzle the intended way when you can yeet a metal block across the room with a perfectly timed stasis launch? Breath of the Wild doesn't just let you play, it lets you experiment, and that's its genius. Is it perfect? The weapon durability system still gives me trust issues, and the lack of traditional dungeons might disappoint purists. But when you're paragliding over a canyon at sunset, chasing a shooting star, or finally beating a Linnell after 47 failed attempts, none of that matters. This is a game that feels alive, and it respects you enough to let you discover its magic on your own terms. So, why is Breath of the Wild our number one? Because it's not just a game, it's a revolution. It's the reason we play open-world games. To feel wonder, to conquer the unknown, and to remember that sometimes the journey is the destination. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a Korok seed to find. And there you have it, the 10 best open-world games of all time, according to someone who definitely hasn't seen sunlight in weeks. Whether you agree with the list or think I've committed crimes against gaming, drop a comment below and let me know. Did your favorite make the cut? Or are you ready to fight me over Skyrim's janky combat? Let's start a debate, or a fistfight. Either way, I'll bring the popcorn. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Trust me, you don't want to skip what's coming next. Here's a hint. It involves underrated gems, questionable life choices, and maybe a few more explosions. And to everyone who watched all the way to the end, thanks for sticking around. You're the real MVP. Now go play something that lets you touch grass. Or, ignore that and keep gaming. I won't judge. Remember, life's too short for bad games.